Hi, welcome to Local Flavor. My name is Oystein Solberg and we're here at the Institute for Culinary Arts. We're here with Chef Michael Combs. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, of course. Thank you for being here. So, we're going to play around with some scallops today.
You do not see these very often.
It is not very often, but I figured it is Friday. We might as well get some scallops in and just have a jolly good day and just, I don't know, eat scallops.
Scallops are awesome. I love scallops. You can eat them raw. You can eat them cooked.
It's so delicious. Like, you can do like ceviche, you can sear them, you can steam them. Like, they're just wonderful, wonderful things. So I figured we just get some live ones in because, I don't know, being in Nebraska, like it's harder finding just kind of scallops in the shell like that. So
it is.
But figured we'd kind of go a little crazy on them.
You always find they usually take them out of the shell right on the boat when they come up.
Yep.
And so they freeze them right away. So it's really cool to see that in the shell and they're still alive. And you get to see the anatomy of them. And, it's a really cool thing. Something special today.
Yeah, because like they're pretty bulky. So like I think the reason that they fabricate them so soon after getting caught, like they are just so much smaller to ship. So usually my tools of choice, I got one knife that I just want a really, really flexible knife, and then a spoon.
Wow.
That's basically all you need because they're wonderful little creatures.
So it's a lot different than having like an oyster knife or a shucking knife, that sort of thing. It's because those are probably too short and too stout almost, where you need something flexible to get in that shell.
Yeah, because like it's tricky because like the shell curves a lot and then the muscle kind of curves with it. So you just want to be able to get something that you can just bend against the shell and just get as close to the shell as possible.
Sure, that way you don't waste any of the meat.
Exactly. So usually what I do, one of the sides will be a little bit flatter. So I just make sure that one is down. And then I just use the knife. I'm just going to lay it on the bottom. These might bite you a little bit because they're feisty little fellas. So if they start biting and getting crazy, just tell them to stop it. If they're being completely closed, you can go in kind of through the back right there, and you can pry it open a little bit and just kind of let them bite on you.
Sure.
They don't bite crazy hard.
So they're not like oysters where they're like just tight, like they.
Oh yeah, no, like they can. You can pinch a little bit, but you won't lose a finger or nothing, so it's not too bad. So I just use the knife and just kind of go flat towards the back, and I'm just going to push it towards the back plate, and just go.
Gotcha. I can see your knife just bending right now.
Yeah, and then I'm just going to go straight through that little sucker. Right there.
Wow, there you go.
Right there. And then that's how I look on the inside. So that's the muscle right there. And then you just got all the other gunky stuff around. So this here is just the roe sack.
Which you can eat?
Yep. It's also very, very delicious. Then you got like the esophagus and all that stuff kind of laying up there.
Stomach and...
Yep.
It's amazing. You see the size of this. This is probably like not quite a U10, but close to it. Is that a U10?
Yeah, it's probably not quite though, but it's a pretty decent size.
It's amazing because if you see like a U6 or U5, which means that's how many they are per pound. So if I say U10, that means there's 10 of these per pound. But look at the size of this. So if you can imagine a U5 or something like that, the shell on that's gonna be huge, or it's double that size.
Yeah, I've seen some that are like, they're about between 6 to 8 ounces, just one muscle.
That's
sometimes.
Big scallop. That means it's a huge shell.
Oh, it's ginormous. It's like ginormous, and they're pretty slow growers, so they kind of take their time.
That's why they're so expensive too.
Yeah, they're not cheap, but they're so delicious, so it's totally worth it. So on the other side, because the muscle is still attached, like it's attached to both sides, so it can go bite people and whatnot. So this side is quite a bit more curved. So to be able to get all the way down there to kind of get the muscle out, I usually just use a spoon because they don't stick a lot to the shell. So basically just kind of scoot down.
Yeah, it really does kind of come, it looks like it's...
Yeah, because this little membrane just sits on there loose.
Gotcha.
So that one's easy getting off. So once you get down to the muscle, it'll stick a little bit more. But just use a spoon and just kind of scrape along the side.
That was really easy, actually. They kind of looks like it just came right up.
Yep, it comes out super easy.
And you can use these shells for a presentation of things or whichever, huh?
Yeah, like it's a lot of dirt on them, so you want to clean them up real well.
Sure.
But usually what I do, I just put them in a pot of just boiling water. and just let them boil for a while.
Sure, to clean them up.
Yeah, like it really just kind of shakes all the gunk off of it. It just makes them a lot cleaner. So we still got a lot of gunk because you can't throw it in a pan like this.
I don't know if I would do that.
That would be pretty horrible. But it got like a little foot on it. The flavor on it is very good, but the texture, like it's just very tough.
For the foot?
Yeah. So like you always want to take that one off. So I usually use that one when taking all the organs and the roe and that stuff off.
Oh, they usually come with the foot on it normally. Sometimes when you buy them, they come with the foot, and that's something you take off?
Yeah. So normally like you can just kind of pull it off and it'll come off okay, but I usually just go in behind the foot and the muscle because it gets off it releases from the muscle pretty okay.
Yeah, it looks like it just separates from there.
So you got like this little membrane that runs in between the muscle and the organs.
Sure.
It comes off super easy.
There you go. There's a scallop for you.
Yeah.
And those can be pretty sandy, can't they?
Yeah, it's a lot of dirt on there because like these ones, they filter water through as they sit in the water. So like they get a lot of small, you can even find like small like mussels and clams and little crabs and stuff like that in there.
Inside the shell.
Yeah. It's usually like a whole little contained aquarium in there. Like it's really wacky. So just wash them off real well and pat them dry, and they're quite delicious.
You can smell like the ocean from these. They have like the ocean smell, and they're kind of briny smelling.
Yeah, they're pretty nice and fresh.
And there's the roe. Which we definitely like to keep that. You don't see that too often either, like the fresh roe.
Yeah. No, the roe is pretty delicious. You can use it for salads or all sorts of stuff. You got like a little thingy back there that usually just cuts off, and then you just get a nice little clean sack like that, and just pull that sucker out.
It's coming right out of there, yeah?
Yep, you just pull it out, and it comes out pretty good. So that one as well, just kind of clean it off real well. Basically what I do with the roast, like you can brine it, so put it in kind of like a salt solution for a little bit. You can smoke it for a little bit. Or you can just pan sear it for a little bit and throw it straight.
So you don't want to cook it. You don't want to cook it till it's dry, because then it might just be really tough.
Oh yeah, yeah. You gotta cook it
very little fat, I would assume, in there.
Oh yeah. You cook it very, very shortly, because like it's basically like a whole bunch of eggs that sits inside a little sack. So the sack is gonna act like a sausage skin kind of. So once you start cooking, it's gonna shrink up really, really fast.
Okay.
So sometimes it'll burst and get kind of funky. So kind of lower heat and kind of steep it works out best for them. But they're very, very tasty.
Well, maybe we'll get to try them today.
Oh, they're fantastic. It's good stuff. So that's basically how to break down a scallop. So I think we got a couple of more. So you want to get in and dirty on this stuff?
You bet. We'll get to get to work.
Perfect. So we'll be back in a little bit. We're going to get Michael dirty now that I made a dirty on myself. So just stay tuned and we'll be right back.